sides of school, I've had enough for today. I hit the radio dial and turn it up all the way. I'm playing UK hockey fan. UK hockey fan.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the UK Hockey Fan Podcast. I'm Shane.
And I'm Finn.
And this is the first of a special edition, a coronavirus edition UK Hockey Fan Podcast. We thought, because everything's going a bit crazy in the world and the NHL's been suspended and loads of other things will happen, which we'll talk about, we'd jump on and do a quick episode. Maybe we'll instead of doing a weekly episode, we'll try and do one every couple days, especially if people are going to be shut up inside their houses, just hanging out and trying to hide from the nastiness that's happening outside. So this is our first one, and it's going to be a short one, but we thought we'd give it a go.
Yeah, we thought that with everything that's going on, with not much hockey going on, people being at a bit more of a loose end, we thought this would be the perfect way to keep everything going.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to start off with a story. Those people that normally listen to the podcast know that I have some ridiculous nonsense we usually kick things off with. And this week for me, it's going to be, I'm going to call this section 14 Stitches.
I think I know what this is going to be about.
So... Out in the world of hockey, whether you're a hockey player or a loved one of a hockey player, a parent of a hockey player, or a partner of a hockey player, there is this ongoing thing about people that play in sort of professional or semi-pro or whatever hockey, where you're able to select whether or not you want to wear a cage, a full cage, like that sort of crisscrossy metal thing that goes over your whole face, or a visor. Or in my case, if you've been playing hockey as long as I have, you actually, in most leagues around the world, you don't even have to wear a visor. You can just wear a helmet.
Lucky guy.
Well, I don't know. So that's the question. So I've had loads of stitches in my career of playing hockey. I've broken my nose twice.
Congratulations.
I've had 2 teeth knocked out. And I recently, in the last week, received another stick in the face that cost me 14 stitches. And anybody that checks it out on our social media has seen my ugly mug on there. And it is pretty grim.
Yeah, no, it's not the best.
Luckily, it's nowhere near an eye. It's not connected to my mouth and all that sort of thing. But it is, running down my chin, another 14 stitches. And it begs the question... should I cage or should I carry on? So I wear just a normal visor like you see most players in the NHL, that type of thing. Just a clear sort of half face thingy. But didn't protect me from this particular thing. And so now the question I'm asking myself is it time really to put a full cage on and protect my entire face? Or am I just tempting fate? Or, on the other hand, have I had all the trouble that I'm ever going to have now?
And then you're just going to take it off altogether?
Yeah, I could take the visor right off. I'd just assume that I've had all the bad luck I'm going to ever have and take the visor off as well.
Just show everyone just how veteran you are.
I do prefer veteran. The thing is that with the visor, I've always had a problem with the visor fogging up, and there is no anti-fog in the world that works for me. I've tried everything, all the actual made sprays and stuff like that. I've tried smearing, what's the other thing? Smearing toothpaste on there and everything else. Nothing really works to keep it from fogging. Usually about halfway, it'll be good for about half of a game, and then about halfway through, it will start fogging up. And then it just starts to become a problem. I have adjusted it in recent times and moved it further away from my face. It's now out as far as it can possibly get away from my face, and that has made a slight improvement. But it does tend to fog up. So I'll tell you what. Hit us up on social media. Tell me what you think about face masks versus visors versus just having your face hanging on out there. Let us know what you think. You can message us on Instagram. We're UK Hockey Fam on there. We're on Twitter, UK Hockey Fam. We have a website. You can contact us through there, ukhockeyfam.co.uk.
Yep.
And where else can they find? And through our email address, which is ukhockeyfam@gmail.com. So let us know what you think about that thing. Anyway, on to the mess that we're in at the moment. We did manage to squeeze one Leafs game through before everything got called off. And Finn, what was that game?
It was the Tampa Bay Lightning game.
So, yeah. If things had to pause for a while, what a great note to end on. What was the final outcome there?
So the Leafs ended up winning that game 2-1. I'd just like to point out, thank you very much for the Leafs for once playing defense.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, first period was 17-6 shots in favor of the Leafs.
Yeah.
And that's just one period, you know?
Yeah, that's good. We're starting to shut down the shooter.
Finally.
Yeah, well, never too soon and all that.
Like, as soon as we're actually starting to do well, they postponed the season, so that's great.
Yeah.
But one goal in the first period, William Nylander, his 31st of the year, with assists going to John Tavares and Mitch Marner. Marner hitting his 50th assist, and that was a power play goal. Second period, Tampa Bay bring it back to 1-1. And Austin Matthews scores a power play goal, his 47th of the year, with assists going to Mitch Marner and John Tavares. 2-1 Toronto.
Yeah.
First star of the game, Mitch Marner. Second star of the game, Frederick Hansen.
So that a great win against Tampa Bay, right when we needed some points. And at that stage, we had no idea that the league was about to be suspended. And so things were looking good because Tampa Bay's ahead of us in the division, and we desperately needed points. And there's nothing better than gaining points against someone who's above you in the table who you've stolen their points.
Also, the playoffs would have meant that we would have faced Tampa Bay in the first round. And seeing as we won our last 2 games against them, that puts us in good stead.
I'd much rather face them than Boston, as would any other Leafs fan, I'm sure.
Some would say no.
Well, who?
People, for example, Steve Dangle.
Dangle.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because it almost, for some people, doesn't feel right unless we beat Boston and then win the cup.
Oh, I could care less about that. I
It's
totally
just-
do not agree about anything like that.
As long
I'd
as-
much rather face Tampa Bay than go another through our curse, which is the Boston Bruins.
If we play Boston in round 2, I reckon we'd win.
Okay, yeah, me too. Me too, because we've already won. We'll have winning in our minds. Yeah, for sure. So that was a good win. We headed and actually helped us out in our fantasy league.
It did indeed, yeah.
So since we were on last, we've jumped into second place. Sorry, Rach Cartwright, if you're listening. We managed to finally catch her up. We're in second place, and we're still 400 odd points off of the Elliot, who's in the lead, who I've chatted with over last week. But all of this came for nothing when the notice came through from Bettman in the NHL that they are suspending gameplay, as led by NBA led the way. They decided to suspend all the games, and so everything's on hold now. No one has any idea when hockey will return, and now it's just all of us trying to think of what to do to fill that hockey hole.
Yeah, all sports hole because everything is done now.
Yeah, for sure. I saw a hilarious meme on Instagram just before I came on, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I think it said something to the effect of, "Second day of no sports, I discovered a lady sitting on my couch. Turns out she's my wife, and she seems nice."
Of course you found that.
Terrible. But so everybody's in the same boat. We're all wondering, when hockey will return. It's a bit like coming to the end of the season, I suppose, and being faced with a period of time where you don't know what's happening, except we're all totally in limbo, right? So you're following a team. If you're into hockey, you want to know what's happening. Looking around the leagues here in the UK, I don't know what it's like anywhere else with the leagues below the NHL. I'm going to guess they're all pretty much in the same shape. The elite league here is shut.
Yep.
It stopped. Men's and women's hockey has stopped. I think that some of the junior leagues have not fully decided to stop yet, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna. I mean, the thing with junior leagues is you don't have an arena full of people.
Yeah,
right?
just don't jinx my league, please.
Yeah. Well, we won't go there. But I don't think that. I mean, for your league, you probably. I think even the places that I've heard about having bans on mass gatherings, the number is 500, and I don't think you get 500 people out to watch a game, so you'll probably be all right.
I mean, we're just not at that caliber of level yet.
But of course, people are thinking about the fact that hockey for one sport is where there's a whole lot of you jammed usually into quite a small changing room, and it's pretty hot in there and whatnot. It's the last place in the world you want to be if there's a nasty virus going around. So who knows? I imagine that will probably get stopped too. We're in the UK at the moment, and it is Sunday the 15th of March.
Yep.
And as of today in the UK, nothing is really stopped. Schools are still open. Everybody's going back to school tomorrow. Everybody's going back to work tomorrow. France is pretty much shut down, I think. Italy on lockdown, as everybody knows. Germany also, I think, on lockdown. Something crazy happening in the UK here, where actually you've got medical experts or the chief medical officer, whoever it is. There's one for Scotland, one for England, one for Wales, one for Ireland, and they're all doing different things, and yet they're all being advised by exactly the same group of people. Scotland, we heard, is going to shut schools, I think, for something like 13 weeks. England has no intention of shutting schools at all.
Ireland's already locked down, I think. They've already shut everything.
Spoke to some friends back home in Canada today, and they said that essentially the approach there is that they've just gone on to March break, spring break, and that's 2 weeks, and then they're planning on keeping the schools shut for 2 weeks after that, so that's a month. So no idea how long we'll be in this situation. But we thought we'd jump on and say hello to everybody out there and let you know that we're going to try and keep making podcasts because everybody like us and everyone out there in sports world will be looking around for something to listen to or watch or whatever. And there's only so many times that you can watch old clips of Gretzky. We've all seen Mighty Ducks about 1,000 times.
We've all watched Austin Matthews' debut game multiple times. I know I have.
Mystery Alaska, brilliant. I don't want to ruin it for myself. I've watched it probably 50 times already. You get the idea. So we're going to try and keep putting out podcasts now and then. And I think probably one of the coolest things that we could offer to our listeners is, again, coming back to the hit us up about stuff. So it's really easy to contact us through social media or through email or whatever. If there's anything at all that you want us to talk about on the podcast, while we're all sort of heading into this limbo land of no hockey and possibly being locked into our homes, just hit us up. Drop us a message on Instagram, Twitter, again at our email address, which is ukhockeyfam@gmail.com, or through the website. Anything sort of hockey related or in fact anything that you think would be funny, send it along to us, and we will mention you. We're happy to do shout outs to anybody who's listening. We'll talk about you. We'll talk about your local team. We'll talk about your own team. Even if you're a beer leaguer, let us know who you play for, and we'll big you up on the podcast. This is a moment to just connect, I think, with all the other people out there that are kindred spirits like us, that like either hockey or Leafs or whatever it is to do with hockey.
Yep.
So once again, hit us up where you can. We'll get Scott Antcliffe on. He's not on tonight because it's such a short episode, and of course there's not a tremendous amount happening around the UK. But hey, Scotty's a great hockey player himself, and he knows an awful lot about stuff. So hit us up maybe with some topics that you want us to talk about. And if you're in a team somewhere in some obscure part of the world, tell us what your team is, and we'll dig into it. We'll find out about you. We'll do a little background on it.
Yeah. I was thinking earlier, have you seen, so you know the website Cap Friendly, right? It's where you can see all the caps of different players and the teams and stuff.
Yeah, all the salary info.
So they've got this new thing called the trade generator or something.
Oh, right. Okay.
And it's where you can put your own team in, and you can trade players away from your team and for other players. Okay. It could be something we look into and maybe try and almost do a competition to see who can make the best trade.
That sounds superb.
For the Leafs. So, I mean, I'm just going to trade, Austin Matthews for McDavid and Pietrangelo and Burns. Yeah. No, I've tried it. It's actually really good, and it does it based on the cap of the team that you're taking a player from, the team that you have yourself, and also the amount of players and and you can add draft picks in and stuff for different years. Yep. So it's pretty cool, and it could be something we look into if anyone is interested in us doing that. Yep, fantastic. It's a really good idea. We'll try and figure out a few weird things and come up with a couple historical hockey ideas and things like that. Anything to keep you entertained. Hey, it keeps us busy. It gives you something to listen to, and hey, we'll get through this thing together. Exactly. Okay. Anything else, Finn? I'm not sure there's much else. No, I don't think there is. Okay, cool. Well, we have a special guest here. The youngest member of the UK hockey family is sitting here. He's been sitting here quietly with us, and I'm going to
get him to introduce himself. So we have an 8-year-old player here. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm John T.
John T, how old are you?
8.
And are you a member of the UK Hockey Fan?
Yes.
And is this your first time on the UK Hockey Fan podcast?
Yes.
And which way do you shoot?
Left-handed.
And so what position do you prefer to play, defense or forward?
Defense.
Okay, all right. So you've heard it here first. John T is on, first time ever on the podcast, the youngest member of the group. And John T, who's your favorite hockey team?
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You're having the same kind of season as the rest of us. Now, and who's your favorite local team? Do you support a local team?
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Oxford City Stars.
Okay, all right. Oxford City Stars. So we went out to see them play on Wednesday night. And in fact, it was a fantastic game. Some great players, some real supreme efforts there. Joe Edwards is a standout for me. And unfortunately, we lost. It was a great game. It was penalty shootout. It went to overtime, 3-on-3 overtime, and ended up losing on a penalty shootout. But it was a fantastic game. So Oxford City Stars, great to see. Right, Jonty, thanks so much for coming on the show. We'll hopefully hear more from Jonty, 8-year-old player's view, as the weeks go on.
Yep.
Thanks so much again for listening. Shout-outs as usual to some of our favorites like Crosscheck Clothing and Beer League Republic. We got True Hockey.
Bionic Skate Blades.
Yep.
Sports Screen.
Yep, Sports Screen. Who else? Tap Social Brewery. Also, Elements Brewery, local to us here. Loads of people, and we'll talk some more about these people too. It's not just about hockey. We can talk to you some more about some great people that are out there. Herm Sports in London, Ontario.
Yep, and we have Puck Stop UK here in the UK.
That's right. Well, maybe talk a bit more about some of the great people that are out there supporting our passion and the sport of hockey. So thanks for tuning in for this quickie, and do hit us up. Let us know. Tell us about anything to do with hockey, wherever you are. Let us know, and we'll talk about it on upcoming Shorty episodes, the coronavirus series.
we should. I reckon we should call this series a podcast, whatever name of the podcast, and the UK Hockey Fan podcast, but we should call it like the COVID-19 series saga, the COVID-19 saga.
COVID-19 saga. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Stay safe out there. Take care of one another, and we'll speak to you soon.
See you guys.
Cheers. The best game you can name, and the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.